The ocean is a fisherman's friend and foe. For entertainment purposes, we're interested in the foe side of things. But these guys know the water and its wildlife better than most, so the friend side of things can be interesting too. That's why this episode is dedicated to all kinds of fishermen. Not just their rare catches, but also their battles with the elements at sea. We've lined up some of the best footage we could find.
This is insane!
And combined it with the funny stuff. So we hope you enjoy this fisherman-friendly edition of Deep Blue Discovery. Coming up, blistering alien barnacles and a worm-charming demonstration.
There he is.
But first, fishing is a competitive sport, made all the more cutthroat by the presence of predators beneath the waves. A wounded hooked fish is an easy meal, especially for this clever seal. That kind of thing isn't uncommon. These fishermen were after salmon off Alaska, but got far more than they bargained for. Instead of salmon, they attracted a salmon shark. As that clip proved, you should always remember there's often something lurking below that's better at catching fish than you. This is a pike seizing a fisherman's lure in a Dutch lake. Although the animal was very much caught out by its own attack, after a brief struggle, it did manage to escape. When the fishermen behind this camera were circled by an enormous great white, their reaction was as you would expect.
Holy Jesus!
This happened off the coast of southern Australia. The shark eyeballed the boat for 10 minutes before gnawing at the engine, thankfully deciding it wasn't on the menu. Engines churn up the water and may resemble wounded prey. It's not unusual to see sharks bite boat engines. This example features a lemon shark in the Bahamas. A good piece of advice is that telling a great white to tends to be ineffective. This fisherman had deployed a large net to catch snapper when he realised the shark had snuck inside and was picking off his catches. When he wanted the net back, a tug of war ensued. Thanks to this kayak fisherman's head-mounted GoPro, we can see the moment he hooked a copper shark off Auckland, New Zealand, only to be taken on a 15-minute joyride by the unimpressed predator.
I'm not sure about how much line I've got left. We'll see how we go. Now, did you see that?
Far from being taken on a joyride, some creatures are built for fishing. Check out this bald eagle in Alaska with one of the most impressive swoops you'll ever see. Despite all we've seen, fishermen tend to have a good relationship with sharks. When Xander de Beer accidentally caught a thresher off South Africa, he was quick to reel it in and release it back into the sea. The freezing cold Barents Sea can be inhospitable. This trawler's deck camera kept rolling during a major storm, and the footage is terrifying. Storms come in all shapes and sizes. This one in California came in the form of golf ball-sized hail. You know what? This is quite terrifying too. Tourists on a fishing trip off Puerto Rico were greeted by this monster water spout. These twisters don't tend to be that dangerous, but do cause damage occasionally. And this is what a tornado looks like when you're on board a fishing vessel. The storm hit a Pennsylvania harbour in 2019, rocking boats with 110-mile-per-hour winds.
This is insane! Holy...
It doesn't necessarily take a storm to ruin a fisherman's day. This epic fishing fail was due to an unseen rock near the riverbank.
Oh my God, you alright?
Still to come on Deep Blue Discovery, we're all squashed in like sardines. But first, it's quite rare to catch a wolffish these days. Their numbers have depleted in recent years, and these Russian fishermen got the shock of their lives when they reeled one in. It's often when we catch fish that we're given insight into their lives, or in this case, their diets. This cod caught in Australia's Northern Territory was found to have just eaten a venomous snake, and it was still alive.
When you're a wild man, the top of Australia. Oh, and this bloke is a wild man because he's pulling a snake out of a fish's mouth.
He's only just ate it.
He's just eaten it. Isn't that incredible?
Swallowed it, and yeah.
No.
He's still going for a feed.
Maybe that's going to be a new brand of lure, the snake.
God, they eat anything, don't they?
Unbelievable. Only in the territory.
A much luckier reptile now, a turtle that almost lost its head when a bass stole its lunch. And here's another nearly moment. This unsuspecting fisherman almost fell victim to something much bigger than a bass. This incredible breach happened off Monterey Bay. You'll often see humpbacks visit the area during salmon season because lots of good whale food follows the fish. It's not often you see this many sardines jumping out of the water. It was filmed in a Taiwanese port, and it's believed they were panicking due to nearby barracudas. This rather strange creature was caught by a crab fisherman off California. Despite its alien-like appearance, it's thought to be a barnacle. It's similar in some ways to a mussel, but ultimately, we don't know what it is. If you do, let us know in the comments. While we're doing crustaceans, it was thanks to a fisherman that these horseshoe crabs, washed ashore and flipped onto their backs, were rescued.
So I was walking to the spot to go fishing, and I noticed there were a bunch of horseshoe crabs all on their backs. This is insane. I've never seen anything like this, but they're all alive. So I'm gonna go and flip them all back over.
50 crabs saved, all in a day's work. Fishermen are more likely than most to encounter stricken marine wildlife. This unlucky seal was separated from its mother at just 1 day old. Lost in Russia's Far East, it was thanks to a group of local fishermen that its life was saved. Parts of Russia can be challenging for those who make a living catching fish. These guys had to think quickly when the ice ledge they were fishing from broke away into the water. In true fisherman style, they turned the ice into a boat. Back in California, where a friendly bet turned into a competitive sport, kind of. After being challenged to catch a fish with his drone, Paul Sirimarco succeeded and in the process invented drone fishing. But Paul's drone won't reach the heights of these fishermen above the Black Sea. Parafishing is unconventional, but actually quite effective. This guy doesn't need technology. This is a fisherman from New South Wales, Australia, with a unique technique to catch sandworms on the beach. Sadly, fishing doesn't come as naturally to everyone. We're using this clip from Nambucca Heads in Australia as proof.
Scoop one! Scoop him! Scoop him!
Finally, it's always important to repopulate our lakes and seas. This footage shows a plane dropping 35,000 trout into a lake in Utah. More than 95% purportedly survive the drop. Whatever your standpoint on fishing and fishermen, you can't deny the pros know the water better than most, and the amateurs are prone to a good old-fashioned fail. Both are in many ways perfect for YouTube. We hope you enjoyed our compilation of fun fishing clips. We're back next week with some more deep blue discoveries.